Do you ever get times when you feel like you can never win? I was thinking a couple of stories from working life. When I was down south working as a pest controller, I worked for a big company, it had about 100 employees, and I was the training officer. I would train all the young guys, and they'd get all these young guys that are unemployed and they just didn't want to do anything. Useless, totally useless. They just wanted to stay on government benefits. Anyway, I didn't really care. But I went and the boss said, "You got to go and quote this job, right?" So he gave me an address, and I already knew, because I knew every part of Adelaide City, so I already knew that it was a rich area. I could tell that. So that means more intricate houses to work with, right? So I've gone to this big mansion, and it was Italian, owned by Italians, and actually a very well-known family, right? On TV, and they own petrol stations. I think they own over 100, right? And a lot of other stuff as well. And I've gone and looked at this house, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is just a total nightmare. This job's a nightmare. The work that had to be done without damaging things, especially me going to quote it, I would have to run it. And the fact that I had to run it means I'm responsible for these guys that don't want to do anything. And in a pest control, you had a lot of drilling holes through concrete. And the idea is you drill a hole through the concrete and you put an injector on it, and you'd pull a gun and you'd squirt pesticide. Then the modern pesticides were very safe to use. Anyway, you squirt that down there, and you drill all these holes at a certain distance, right around the whole house, right? But this house was more complicated because it had concrete stairs, and you'd be expected to do it, but there's no way you can drill a hole through it, right? So you'd have to fake it, right? Stuff like that. And they had all these fine tiles. Terrazzo tiles are an Italian tile, and they have to be specially done with these small drills and injectors. And I could do it on my own, right? No problem, and I'd do a really good job, but I need time, and they never give you enough time, right? Time's always your limit. They'd say, oh, you can do that in one day. Not going to work like that. So anyway, I went and looked at this, and the going rate to do work on a normal house back then was about $2,000, right? A big mansion like that was $3,000, and I just thought, I don't want this job, so I'm going to put 7 on it, right? So I put 7,000 on the quote, and he just turned around and said, "When will you start?" So there was no getting out of it, was there? It wasn't worth a $100 bonus I got for selling it, right? That's another time when you don't win. And it was a nightmare, and it didn't get done in one day, and then I got raked through the coals because stuff got damaged and blah blah blah, right? And another time I had to do this job, and this was an old historic house, and the hallway had a timber floor in it, which was Baltic pine, beautiful timber floor. But these houses were built with stone foundations, no access to the subfloor. So you'd have to cut holes to access the subfloor to spray the chemicals to stop termites coming up, because that's what we were chasing all the time. I don't know if I said that, but anyway, we were chasing termites. And I've gone there, and he said, "Where are you going to cut the hole?" I said, "Well, I've got to do a specialised hole, not like the normal under lino or carpet. And I would suggest that we do it here under the hall runner." He said, "No, I don't want it there." I said, "Yeah, that's where you should do it, mate. No one will see it. It'll be out of sight." "No, I want it done there." And I said, "That's under your telephone table." I said, "Why do you want it there?" "That's what I want." So, customer's always right. So I've gone and done all the job, all finished. And the next morning I go into work, and the boss there, you got to go to that house." I said, "Why's that, mate?" And he said, "Oh, they're not happy. You've damaged all their floor." "Why in the hell did you put it there?" And I said, "Well, he told me to, I'm only doing what he told me to." And I fixed it after that, because after that, if they wanted something like that done, because they were people scammers, I would make them sign it, that it was them, or I wouldn't do it. I wasn't going to get caught twice with this. And anyway, he said, "Go to the house and I'll be there. Wait there." Right, so I've driven up to the house, and I've knocked on the door, and the guy's there. he said, just wait there. And he's gone in to the kitchen, and I can hear, and I'm listening, and he's saying, hey, we're going to get the job for free. From this, it will be free. We won't pay a cent for it. And I just thought, you rotten scam artist, right? So I just got my ute and went off. And half an hour later, my boss is ringing up, and he's saying, where in the hell are you? Why aren't you at the house? And I said, nah, mate, I'm not going to be scammed by anybody. I said, what did you do? He said, oh, well, I paid for it. I paid. They got it for free. I said, well, you're a smart cookie, aren't you? And I just hung up on him and went. But yeah, another time, one guy pushed his television over and said that we damaged it. And then my boss come there, and after about 5 or 10 minutes, he said, nah, I did it, mate. I wanted a free TV. So these are some of the people you'd have to deal with. I went to a place once, and the whole property was a illegal fauna. They even had crocodiles they brought down from northern Australia, and kangaroos, and it was an illegal fauna setup, and it wasn't good. It wasn't healthy. So I told my boss, they actually got dobbed in, and it was shut down. It was a rental property that I just went to do some work. So sometimes you just can't win. Another time I was putting ventilation on this historic house, and they quoted all this work because there wasn't enough air getting into the subfloor, and that sort of keeps moisture and termites. So they quoted to replace the old, beautiful old vents, which I would keep, right, with modern metal ones for better airflow. Anyway, I've gone to this house and I've looked at it and I thought, oh my goodness, if I try to make a vent like this, I'm going to smash the inside of their wall, and it's going to do heaps of damage. So I called up work and I said, I can't do this. And this boss just said, you got to go ahead and do it no matter what. So yeah, I did it. Yeah, it cost them $5,500 in repairs. The whole inside wall collapsed. So yeah, and then they always try to blame you for it. Oh, it's your fault, you know. Why did you go and do that? So yeah, you can never win, can you? So yeah, you can never win in your working life.